Right. Let's talk about nutritional crime committed by European Union against African countries in the year 2024. According to the public eye, the European Union sold toxic pesticides to African countries, 60% of which went to South Africa, Morocco, and Kenya. This is criminal. This is dehumanization of African people, and this is unacceptable, is what we are going to unpack. But before that, please kindly subscribe to our channel because this is the voice of the people and your participation will empower our voice. Peace and love, freedom and decolonization to all African people, those at home, those abroad, and those in the future. If you have two shoes, please sell one and buy a sword. If you have two trousers, please sell one and buy a sword because now it is time for revolution. And this revolution is no longer on streets. This revolution is in the mind because if we are not in charge of our mind, the enemy will make our bodies the tools of self-oppression and self-enslavement. Once again, welcome to our weekly rendezvous where we talk about our affairs. My name is King Kabbalah. On behalf of the African Continental Unity Party, please receive our revolutionary greetings. Now, as announced, the European Union sold about 9,000 tons of toxic pesticides. These are pesticides which have been banned in European Union zone as well as in the United States since 2007 because of their toxicity. Yes, because of their toxicity. They're dangerous chemical and mostly they affect the users, the farmers who are using them, and secondly, they affect even the products of the farm, whatever that whatever that is being produced, to the point that people can develop cancers, all kind of diseases in the future by consuming these products. So this is very important because even though 60% went to South Africa, we know that South Africa supplies countries such as Zimbabwe, Zambia, Congo, and other countries around of its agricultural products, which means we are all affected as African people because we have to look as Morocco as well with its network of trades, Kenya, so forth and so on. So we can look at this reality from a geopolitical perspective, and we can call this as another imperialistic attitude or racial attitude to see African people as inferior human beings, because the only way you can sell something that you know that is toxic, something that you cannot consume yourself, you want to give it to another person, is when you believe that that person is not as equal as human as yourself, or is more like a dog. Even your dog, you will give it something that you know that is not dangerous to its health. So you can discuss that aspect. You can also discuss the aspect of capitalism with its motive. The number one law of capitalism is profit. Whether that profit causes death, destruction of environment, health conditions, suffering of the masses, you don't care much as long as you reap profits out of what you do. You don't care about what is that, what is it, and how you do it, or the consequences of it to other people. You can also discuss the parts of things. But I think for the interest of this podcast, what I want to discuss is another aspect which concerns us as African people, because in reality, we have to understand that the enemies will always continue to do things against us. The most important thing in the whole paradigm is what we do for ourselves as the victims of white supremacy, racism, colonialism, slavery, and today neocolonialism. What we do for ourselves, what can we do for ourselves? That's what is important. That's what I want to talk about in this quick analysis. And I want to take us just a little bit back at the beginning of the first industrial revolution, actually, the time before that, and to explain what was the first industrial revolution so that we understand where we are staying behind. The period before the first industrial revolution was a period mainly characterized by the rule of the sun. The sun is at the center of solar, or is at the center of the solar system, or is the center of the solar system. Therefore, everything turns around or rotates around the sun. We grew up, I mean, in school studying that the earth turns around the sun. Our ancestors believed in that, so they had to work or to go according to the caprice of the sun. When the sun is not there, there's no growth. When the rain is not there, there's no production, there's no planting, there's nothing, there's no food. Um, so everything was seasoned according to the caprice of the sun, right? People had to wait at a particular time to plant and to expect, the crop to grow at another particular time so that they can harvest. And that's why the time was mainly seen as the time where the sun is at the center of everything. So, but I think you and I can agree to the following statement that I'm about to make is that today's world, today's earth is not rotating, is no longer rotating, right, specifically around the sun, but is rotating around the knowledge. Knowledge makes the world go around today. Knowledge has broken all the most of natural principles. Um, has changed. Knowledge has changed the type of relationships that we had with our environment. When you look in the past, before the first industrial revolution, you will see that people were in need of energy. And there was only one source of energy at a time, which was the sun, as I said. So the sun was sending its energy on Earth. The plants were receiving the energy from the sun and converting that or storing that energy through the process which is called photosynthesis, converting it into organic energy, which then, as humans and animals, we're going to take from the plant and then use our bodies to convert that energy or the organic energy into mechanical energy or physical energy to do the work so that we can plant, we can produce whatever that we wanted to produce in the country. That's okay. So, what happened at the first industrial revolution was actually when you study the first industrial revolution, you will see that it was the revolution of energy conversion and storage. What human beings discovered was how we can produce other means of converting different types of energy into physical energy or into thermal energy, into mechanical energy, chemical energy, so forth and so on. All these methods became possible and allowed human beings to remove themselves or remove their bodies as a sole unit of conversion of organic energy to mechanical energy, then to use other form of energy such as other form of tools such as the combustion engine, which then transforms the heat energy into mechanical energy to do the work. And we have many tools around the world today using the same methods or for the same purpose. So this is to say that the know-how has liberated the human being from solely depending on the sun and its seasons. So that today you can eat whether the sun is up there, you can produce, whether the sun is up there or not, you can produce the food that you want. You can produce anything that you want with the knowledge. But the question is why, as African people, why we are not taking advantage of all the knowledge available in the world today in order to begin producing the things that we need, such as food, such as medicine, because these three things, very fundamental to any nation that you have to take care of them by yourself. The food that you eat, the medicine that you use to treat yourself when you are sick, and the education that you provide to your children. These are the things that we cannot leave to the law of markets or to foreigners who happen to be the very same people who always wanted to exploit us, wanted to dominate us, and wanted to oppress us. Why do we rely on the European Union for pesticides? Why can't we produce ours? Why the knowledge is available everywhere? I think this is what I want myself to question, for us to question. And by questioning, I mean, I want us to think as to where is our responsibility and what can we do to eradicate this difficulty, because this is a potential business available here that we can seize and feed ourselves. Every time we depend on the enemy to feed us, then we are doomed to fail, regardless of what we do. So this is where I engage myself, to think in terms of the solutions that we need for ourselves instead of continuously relying on the enemy. So the knowledge is available today. And if Africa ends the 21st century without being in charge of herself, from food production to the knowledge to the medicine, it means we have accepted to be forever infants or slaves to Western powers or to other foreign powers. It might be even Eastern, as far as that matter is concerned. So I think what I am to say here is a word that I want to leave us with in conclusion so that we can think about it and ask ourselves where lies our responsibilities and what we are supposed to do. And that is that Africa can change in a year. Africa can change in 5 years, 10 years, 100 years. And it might be even feasible that Africa may not even change because it depends on two things. And one is the realization of our responsibility towards ourselves, regardless of what the enemy does. And the second thing is beginning to do for ourselves what other people pretend to do for us. And once we begin to do these things, then the change that we want on the continent will take place. So I'm calling here for African farmers, for our industry of chemistry, our engineers, our scientists, to think about the solutions that Africa needs so that this market that goes to European countries, which feeds us with the toxic chemistry or toxic chemical, this market can remain on the continent so that we produce what we consume and then we consume what we produce. Peace and love, freedom and decolonization to all African people, those at home, those abroad, and those in the future. Thank you for your time. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.